What's up, y'all? What's poppin'? What's cracking? It's D, about to react to this impressive vid. It's titled Young Miami Cries and Regrets Selling Her Soul to Diddy. Oh, she's finally talking about it. And Young Miami is upset over JT's collab with Nicki. What? Okay, we about to get some tea. Let's see what's going on. Let's watch. The girls are fighting. Speaking of the girls, I have recently reacted to Lotto's new album, Chloe's new album, and Meg Thee Stallion's new music video, all up on my Patreon right now. Go check it out if you're interested. Link down below. The girls are out here.
Welcome to the impressive channel.
So that's what you need to be doing, Young Miami, is getting in the studio and putting out some music, some actual good music, instead of sitting on this couch and crying about spilled milk. You can't do nothing about what already happened with Diddy. We gotta move on, sis. Need to get in line with what the girls are doing, because the girls are dropping music. They out here working. Whatever.
No.
Let me hear what you got.
Young Miami recently sat down with Saucy Santana on her podcast, Pleas, and she opened up about Diddy for the first time since he's been caught up in his legal trouble. Now, we all know that Diddy is under heavy surveillance from the feds, and ever since he was sued by Cassie and his producer Lil Rod, everything has been going downhill. I mean, he has been accused of doing all types of stuff, from DV to SA, and one of the main crimes is also trafficking, okay? Now, Young Miami was implicated in some of Diddy's shenanigans. In fact, in Lil Rod's lawsuit, he claimed that Young Miami was Diddy's escort, and she also allegedly was sniffing that white powder, and she was even transferring this drug called Tusi to Diddy. Not to mention, Young Miami implicated her own self when she taunted one of Diddy's girlfriends, Gina B,
she did,
and said that Diddy would make her go down on her knees and perform different acts on her, which falls in line with what Cassie accused Diddy of. She accused him of making her do
So that tells me that Carisha had knowledge of what was taking place. So whatever tears she dropped in this video, she better not claim that she didn't know what was going on, because you told on yourself. You heavily implied that you did know what was going on. Like, oh, Diddy'll have you on your knees for me, bitch. Like, even if whether you like me or not, he'll make you eat my... Like, that's what the energy that it gave. Heavy. And you talking about how you was getting peed on. Like, girl. That's what I said. Just make music. Take that L and keep it pushing.
On other male escorts.
Why you trying to get sympathy points? I'm sorry.
So Young Miami really got herself in some hot water messing with Diddy. Now, when she was with him, she did benefit for the time being, because he helped her get her own podcast called Pleas on his network Revolt, which he no longer owns because he had to step down. But he helped her get a podcast. He kind of helped her branch out and broaden her brand. He actually invested in some of her merch, like her candles. And he just brought her to important places like the Met Gala. I mean, he really did help elevate her brand to the point that Young Miami kind of felt like she didn't really need her group, the City Girls, anymore. At least it felt that way. I mean, before Young Miami got with Diddy, she was with JT and the City Girls. And Young Miami did admit that they were financially struggling as a group.
It just wasn't connecting no more, and I just felt like that's what really made me like start my own brand. Like, I gotta do something because I'm in this group. The group ain't making no money. We not working.
So with the group struggling the way it did, you could kind of see how Young Miami would turn to somebody like Diddy and look at him as somebody who could elevate her, not only career-wise, but financially. And Diddy is a billionaire. He has connections. He's like a hip-hop mogul. So at the time, Young Miami felt like she came across a gold mine. And in a way, she kind of felt like she didn't need the group anymore because Diddy was helping her.
Usually talk shit about impressive, like coming to conclusions, but this is a very educated guess because this is how it appeared. Heavy.
Her kind of launch out on her own, and she talked about it in this interview. She talked about how Diddy would pump her up and say how much he believed in her and how much he saw in her, and he also invested a lot in her and had her promote his brand. And it got to a point where her brand was intertwined with his brand, and the City Girls no longer was a thing. But I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I feel like Young Miami sold her soul to Diddy. And when I say sell her soul, I mean she literally sold her brand, sold her body to him. And in return, she got his money, she got his connections, and she was able to get more fame. So it seemed like everything was working in her favor until things hit the fan. And the minute Diddy had his downfall, Young Miami fell down with him. So this is actually the result of her selling her soul to Diddy.
And
honestly, you can tell she's in a broken place. I mean, watching her interview on her podcast was like kind of sad to see, because here you had a woman who seemed like she had it all,
right now I don't.
and now she's really telling you the real. She's sad. She's lonely. Also, her brand kind of fell apart. She lost money. She lost the love from the people. She said she feels like she lost her personality. Her music isn't doing well. I mean, she lost a lot.
So mentally, like, 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sad, 1 minute I'm kind of like, this shit. And then the people that I thought that would be in my corner, or that are like, when I was going through this shit, nobody called me to check on me. Nobody called me to see how I was doing. Like, people was really like, you thought, yeah. So I just really hate that I lost my personality. And that will really break you down as a person when it's like you reading all of these negative things and it's like taking up, majority of your day. Like, you just read like, you should give up. You start thinking like, damn, should I give up? Yeah. I just feel like I don't have a personality no more, and it just really hurts. I'm not able to release music right now. It's because it's like, when I try to turn my music in, it's just like, we don't see no growth in your music.
So you kind of heard a little bit about what Young Miami is going through, and honestly, I kind of feel bad for her. I know some people don't, but I kind of feel a little bad. I mean, maybe this whole PR sympathy thing is working. It's working, y'all. It's working, at least for me. But
well, maybe on y'all too.
Whether
I'm sorry,
it's for publicity or not, I do feel like her tears were genuine. And even though she is not innocent, she still is human. And I do commend her for being vulnerable enough to open up about her feelings. I also commend Saucy.
Was she worried about Gina feelings? And if y'all don't know about that Gina girl, she actually was abused by Diddy. She came out talking about her experience with Diddy, how he did her dirty, basically how she was trapped in the situation with him. And that's who Young Miami was shitting on and being like, girl, he'll make you come over here and eat my box. Like, fuck you, hoe, bitch. So you didn't care about her feelings when you knew everything that was going on with her and her experience with Diddy. You wasn't worried about how she felt. But we supposed to feel bad for you because you sitting on the couch crying because you're no longer benefiting from, Diddy giving you money.
I mean, Saucy Santana is a good friend. I could tell he's a really good friend. Now, Young Miami did finally address Diddy and the allegations, and she actually said that she and Diddy are no longer together.
Oh,
and she also said that they actually fell in love, which I thought was pretty surprising.
I can't speak on these allegations because I wasn't around at the time. I don't know that person, and that wasn't my experience. Are you still dating Puff Daddy? I'm not. I said I was going to tell my truth. I think that it really, really, really hurt me because I just feel like, Puff was a really, really good person to me. When all these things came out, I just needed to take a break and focus on what's important.
Being a good person? That's crazy.
And my family, and just, let him navigate and figure it out on his own because I can't get caught up in it. He didn't expect to fall in love with me because we did end up falling in love with each other. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like, it's just everything that's going on. Like, I don't want to get caught up in that. And I just need a moment to just pour into me.
So Young Miami officially separated herself from Diddy. Now, she still was implicated in that lawsuit. And she was out there doing some freak offs with Diddy too now. So she's not innocent. She could shed a few tears here and there, but she's still not 100% innocent. But she is trying to separate herself, obviously, because she's trying to reset her career. Now, I want to kind of get into some of her comments about her former group member, JT. So
I think that's what, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, because of course she's entitled to feel sad. She's a human. She has emotions. Get it, got it, cool. But my thing is, if everything continued to go well for Diddy and he never got exposed, you would have continued with the freak offs with him, continuing everything you were doing. So it's not like, oh, I saw the light and I decided to separate myself from him because, I realized it was wrong. No, it's because everything came crashing down. You had no choice. So now you want to cry and come back with your tail tucked between your legs like, I lost a lot and I went through a lot, guys, and you guys turned on me. Like, I'm just like, what?
Some of you all know, but Young Miami and JT's group, the City Girls,
it just doesn't feel genuine. Like, you crying because what else you gonna do? Like, because people are on her head. They still are on her head. And like, oh, you ain't never talked about that Diddy situation. And like, they are on her for that. So it's like, she kind of has to do this. This is not coming from a place of realization. Like I said, it's not like I don't think she's a good person at all.
And they both decided to go solo. Honestly, the breakup had a lot to do with ego. It had a lot to do with the fact that the City Girls were not making money like that. They had creative differences as a group. I mean, people were in their ear telling them to go solo. Fans were kind of getting in between them. I mean, there was a lot that was going on. But the main thing is, Young Miami stopped prioritizing the group, and she started focusing more on her career, her solo career. And also, she would do things without JT. She and Saucy Santana would hang out together and do things. And JT was just left out. She was left out. And JT still wanted to hold on to the group. She still wanted to focus on the craft. But Young Miami was more focused on growing her own brand. And Young Miami got so popular that people were just like, who cares about the City Girls anymore, you know? And I think JT felt like nobody was really checking for her like that. Now, there were some people saying that JT needed to go solo because JT can rap, but also they saw that she kind of was abandoned in a sense. But JT did say that she didn't really want to do songs as a solo artist without Carisha. But what's interesting is Carisha, aka Young Miami, and Saucy Santana encouraged her to step out on her own and do her own thing sometimes.
JT is out the way, and me being y'all friend, it frustrates me sometimes because I'm like,
look who's crying.
Carisha, please, and she could do all that stuff, and I'm like, JT, you so motherfucking talented and so raw. Why you won't do nothing?
I remember it's somebody, and they'll keep trying to like force me to do
something. Miami was just like
without Carisha, and I was like, no, like
all smug.
She gonna be on this song too, like, and Carisha like the type of person that like she don't give you could have did it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, like.
So JT said someone reached out to her to do a song, and she didn't want to do it without Young Miami. But Young Miami was like, girl, go ahead and do it. So JT eventually decided that she needed to step out because Young Miami was doing her own thing, and if she wanted to have any career for herself, she had to do her own thing too. So that's what she did. This is why JT went solo.
And I love that for her.
And I can tell that JT is much happier being a solo artist. I think she's fulfilling her dream. But I think JT going solo probably made Young Miami uneasy. Young Miami is used to being the star of the group. Even though JT is the better rapper, Young Miami was used to being more popular. But now things kind of shifted, and JT started becoming more popular. She started to get more features. And that's another thing. Young Miami felt a way that JT was getting features. And it's so interesting because Young Miami was getting a lot of features without JT, but the minute JT started getting features, it became a problem, especially when she got a feature on Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl Queen mix. That was a problem for Young Miami to the point that when JT and Cardi B got into it on Twitter, Young Miami didn't bother to defend JT because she was like, well, you didn't invite me to be a part of the Queen mix, so that's between y'all. That's your issue.
The queen ain't called me, and I ain't know nothing about the remix. The song was never mentioned to me. I was never called for the song. I was never given a heads up.
But you told her go do her own thing. So now you contradicting yourself. You said, hey, go out there. I'm over here with Diddy, and I'm good. So you go and do music and do that. That's basically what you said. But now it's, well, you ain't tell me that. Girl, make up your mind.
Hey, no, I got a song coming out with Nicki or nothing. I never knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
So when that situation came on Twitter and they was arguing about the song, it's like, why insert myself? You know what I'm saying? Like that situation had absolutely nothing to do with me. Bitch, I got left off the bed of Gucci. I didn't even know.
So you were bitter. I don't like her. You trifling. So that's why you didn't defend her? Because it's like, well, you didn't invite me to be on the song with Nicki Minaj. So you was bitter? Girl, go to hell.
So I just felt like, you know, that was between JT and Cardi.
Trifling.
So how long behind the scenes do you feel like have things been rocky between y'all two?
I feel like it's been a minute. It's been a minute since she's been going on behind closed doors. Like, I just feel like we outgrew each other. I feel like she was in LA, I was in Miami. She was been working on her shit. I didn't know. And I just feel like every time we try to get together, it just didn't hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to the studio together. I'm doing a feature. People calling for the City Girls. it's either me or it's you. It just wasn't connecting no more, and I just felt like that's what really made me like start my own brand. Like I gotta do something because I'm in this group. The group ain't making no money. We not working. So it just became a point where we was just like on two different pages.
I feel like that's not a good excuse. It wasn't hidden because y'all was recycling the same city girl tired content and people was tired of it. So how about you put energy into making the music better and trying some different shit? You can pour that energy into the group. But you was like, we ain't making no money, so I'm going to go where the money at. That's what you did. So you abandoned her.
So that's what Young Miami had to say, and she said more, and a lot of people didn't really like what she had to say about JT because they feel like she threw JT under the bus. They're not really in the best place right now, especially since they fought with each other on social media. Even though they did make up, they're still not super close like that. So I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of ego involved, and you have two girls who want to be a star in their own right. I mean, JT always wanted to be a rapper. She wanted to be a rap star, and Young Miami can't really rap, but she wanted to be a star as well, and more than anything, she wanted to make money. So they both really wanted the spotlight, and as much as they try to say, oh, you my sister, I can't do this without you, I do think they both like getting solo attention. But when one person starts getting more attention than the other,
JT was clearly trying to cling on to the girl until she had no choice.
I think Young Miami right now is experiencing what JT experienced a few years ago. When Young Miami was on top, JT felt left out. And now that JT is doing her thing as a solo artist and she's kind of slowly getting to the top, Young Miami is starting to feel left out. She started to feel away, actually, because the City Girls was the thing that she could fall back on. But now that JT has kind of moved full force as a solo artist, there's really no going back. But, I'm not mad at Young Miami for expressing her feelings. I know people aren't going to agree with it. They feel like she threw JT under the bus, which she kind of did. And some of what Young Miami was saying was a bit of revisionist history because she said no one called to check on her, but JT said that she did call and check on her. She said she was the first one to call and check on her. And also, she said that JT and Cardi B were fighting over the Nicki Minaj Queen mix, but in reality, they were arguing because Cardi called her a lapdog for no reason. But Young Miami made it about the Queen mix because truthfully, she was really frustrated that JT was on that remix and she wasn't. And she wanted to air that out. That's what I think. So she was kind of twisting up the story a bit, and I think it was a little unfair. But I commend her for at least opening up. You know what I mean? It's not easy to do, and I do wish her the best moving forward. Anyway, tell what y'all think about this.
I mean, yes, everybody has the right to tell their story, and, they're entitled to be sad about their experience and communicate that. Sure, I'm not taking any of that away from her. This is her story, but at the same time, I just don't feel like she's a good person at all. I've never felt like she was a good person. Ever since it came out years ago when she said that if she found out her son was gay, she would beat the gay out of him, I never felt like she was a good person since then, okay? And her behavior over the years have just validated that. She's always come across like she'll do whatever for money. She does not care what it is. So I don't feel like she feels bad for anything that she was involved in when it came to Diddy. And I feel like she probably was involved in some dark shit. Just based on the things that she was saying on Twitter when she was coming at that Gina girl, I just feel like she was with the shits, getting pissed on, all type of weird shit that she was involved in. You only crying now because things went left. But had things not gone left, you would have still been fucking with Diddy and still, engaging in the freak offs and still with the weird shit. So it's like, I can't really feel too sorry for you. It's not like you seen the light and you was like, you know what? I want to, separate myself from that. That's not right. No, you're crying now because his empire is crashing and you have no choice but to, come back and be like, yo, yeah, I'm trying to separate myself from Diddy now. Because what else you gonna do? What else you gonna say? So, yeah, I just am not a fan of her, to be honest. And I feel like she did abandon JT because she felt like, oh, I got this bigger bag over here with Diddy. Because as we saw, JT was trying to keep the group going and saying she didn't want to do anything without Young Miami. So that tells me that she was trying to prioritize the group. But Young Miami was not. She was pushing her. No, girl, go do it. Because I don't give a fuck about this music shit. I'm making money over here. Diddy giving me, what was it, $250,000 a month or something? Whatever allowance he was giving her. So she like, oh, girl, go ahead. I don't care. So you didn't care about your friendship with that woman. You didn't care about the group. You didn't care about Gina's feelings. When you went off on her on Twitter and basically embarrassed her and said, oh, Diddy would make you eat my if I wanted him to. Like, you didn't care about any of these things. But now you want to get on camera crying because everything has gone left and you no longer can rely on Diddy. I just don't feel like it's genuine. I don't care for her at all. But of course, you know, nobody should feel hurt and go through tragedy. So I hope she gets it together, I guess. Because I mean, I don't know all the details of her story. She probably did go through a lot. I don't want to take any of that away from her. But at the same time, just based on what I've seen, I just don't feel like she's a good person. So there's that. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.